What's up guys, it's your boy Wim and we're back at it again with another Wave Doctor tutorial. And in today's tutorial, we're going to go over 3 reverb tricks that will change your life as a DIY mix engineer. I'm going to be giving out some free gems here that I wish that I had when I started mixing about 10 years ago and started recording at home myself, didn't want to pay anyone else to do it. So I'm here to give y'all the shortcuts and the secret sauce. Let's get into it. This piece right here is a track called Wave, produced by Maddox. This is a song by myself. Let's go ahead and get right into it.
She just wanna come and ride my way. She wanna take this ride, you'll never be the same. Sweet and spice, I think she just might take. She can see it in my face, I be glowing up.
Okay, so the first thing that I want to go over is reverb mistakes. I have my reverb set up exactly how I want it. I'm going to go ahead and take it off. The first mistake that I see people doing is putting the reverb directly as an insert. It's not a bad thing to do necessarily. Especially if you have a mix knob, this can really save it. But the reason why you don't want to put it directly on the insert and on the vocal chain is because it's going to push the vocal back. And that's really what you don't want to do when you have a lead vocal like this right here. So let me go ahead and just put it on the chain just to show you all how to do it the wrong way. And I guess how to save yourself if you kind of did it the wrong way. But then I'm going to go over some alternatives to clean it up and do it the right way. So let's go ahead and I'm going to mute the backing tracks just so y'all can hear what we're really working with here up front. Here we go, one more time.
She just wanna come and ride my way.
Do you hear that vocal? It's kind of just pushed back and you can't really hear it. The intelligibility, all the transients, everything is just kind of washed out. That's kind of what we wanted, but we want to preserve the lead vocal. We want it to be untouched. And this is with the mix at 33%. Imagine if I brought this mix all the way back up. If you don't have a mix knob, it's always going to be at 100%. So just listen how washed out this sounds. Horrible, right? So let me go ahead and just take this off. Now, what you're going to want to do, if you don't have a bus already, you want to go ahead and click here and let me just do this from scratch so y'all can see it. Let me go to an empty bus. Let's go to bus 8. This is going to be our reverb bus. Go ahead and label that so we don't get confused. I actually already have one named Verb, so this one will be Verb 2. All right, so let me go ahead to one of my favorite reverbs here, Valhalla Room Reverb. I'm going to keep the mix all the way up because now that we have it on a bus, what this is going to do is it's going to send a reverbed copy of the vocal behind the lead so that the lead itself isn't touched. It's not going to be washed out. It's not going to be pushed back, but you're still going to be able to have full control over this reverb to get that big reverb sound that you guys are looking for. Without, compromising any of the clarity. So I'm gonna keep that mix up and let's go ahead and send it in. Let's just do like negative. This is gonna be different for every track. This one I really wanted it to float back there. So let's just do like a negative. Let's go. Let's play around with it. Let's do negative 10. Let's bring up the depth a little bit. All right, let's see what it sounds like now.
She just wanna come and ride my way.
Yeah.
Take this ride, you'll never be the same.
So much better. Let me go ahead and turn that off and compare it with the original reverb that we had on the chain. Disgusting. Yeah, we don't want that. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that off. Even if we take the mix down, it's just not what we want it to be. Now, another thing I notice that a lot of people do is they don't shape the reverb. Like I like Valhalla Room because you can high cut, but I like to low cut as well because I only really want the mids to shine through. So tip number 2, putting it on the bus and EQing your reverb. You definitely want to learn how to EQ your reverb. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and pull up one of my favorite Waves EQs here is the F6. We'll go stereo since it's on a bus now. And there's a lot of different ways you can do this, but I'm just going to keep it simple for y'all this time around. I'm going to do a high cut. So that's basically going to take some of the sizzle off. We don't want the reverb to be so clear and so sibilant because that is going to distract your listeners' ears off, basically, when it comes to the reverb. We also want to get rid of some of that mud because once we have this reverb going throughout a lot of different channels, a lot of different sound sources and signals, what that's going to do is just clog up the mix. And we don't want it to be clogged. We want it to be there. We want it to be present. We want it to be ambient, angelic, however you're looking to do this. But we definitely want to roll off some of that mud. So let's go ahead and hear the difference. I'll pop it back and forth. When this blue light here is on, the EQ is on. When it's not, it's bypassed. Pop it back and forth. Here we go.
She just wanna come me right.
Oh, sorry about that. Let me turn it on. Turn on the reverb. There we go.
She just wanna come me right my way.
Now with it off.
She just wanna come me right my way. Take this ride, you'll never be the same. Sweet and spice, I think she just might take.
So do you guys see how by cutting out the high frequencies and the low frequencies, you're kind of just getting the meat and the potatoes of the vocal right there, which is just the mids around here, which is about, I'm cutting down to 125 and then I'm chopping off the top to about 4K. It just has a more focused sound, so it's not distracting you. That's kind of just the whole point of this video, is just to have a reverb that's there, but it's not getting in the way of anything. And it's really just as simple as that. So that's that for tip number 2. Tip number 3 is probably the most important one, the one that I've learned the most recently, and is probably a more advanced technique, but stay with me. I'm going to make this as simple as possible. So when you have that bus 8, in this case, the open bus with the verb, we got that dialed in. We're going to go ahead and put a compressor, and we are going to sidechain this reverb to the vocal. So what this is going to do is, this is called reverb ducking. So every time that the vocal, or whatever we sidechain it to, in this case it's going to be the lead vocal on the hook, it's going to duck every time. Oh, damn. I just got a low battery. There we go. Cool. So where was I? So we're going to go ahead and put a compressor here. And what that's going to do is it's going to duck the reverb every time the vocal is happening, every time it's performing. So that way the reverb doesn't get in the way. Once again, that's the theme of this video. We don't want the reverb to get in the way. This will allow us to make the reverb even louder, but it's going to get out of the way automatically. I mean, you could do this with automation and have it turned down or turned low every time that it's performing, and you could turn it back up and then turn it back down and turn it back up and turn it back down. But that is a manual process, and sometimes it just takes a long time. So I want to improve your guys' workflow. So let's go ahead and just pick a stock compressor here that you guys already have in your DAW if you guys have Logic. But anything is going to work, but preferably something with attack and release, because you want to have control on how fast and how smooth this ducking happens. So I'm going to go ahead and with the Studio, this one, Studio FET. I'm going to turn auto gain, keep that off. Attack and release auto, turn that off as well. And the compressor has to be the last insert on this bus. Okay, so you can't have it at the top, you can't have it in the middle. It's got to be at the very, very end of that bus chain right there. All right, let me go ahead and play it and see how it sounds like, and then we'll tinker with it and get this dialed in and get this reverb sounding fresh.
She just wanna come and ride my wave. Take this ride, you'll never be the same.
Cool, sounds great, but what we need to do is go up to the right here at this side chain, and we're gonna go ahead and select the wave hook audio, because as you can see, the channel here is wave hook. So now this audio 53 or wave hook, I have a lot of channels, I'm sorry. This wave hook is going to be the trigger for this compressor. So it's going to compress every time, basically it's making noise. And then every time there's a gap, you're gonna hear that reverb swell back in. Let's hear how it sounds like this.
She just wanna come and ride my wave. Take this ride, you'll never be the same.
And like I said earlier, this is going to allow you to turn the reverb up even more. I'm gonna go ahead and have the decay a little bit longer. I'm gonna turn the depth up just so it's even more dreamy. Pre-delay, I like where that's at. I like where the pre-delay is at right there. Okay, let's try this again. Well, my bad.
She just wanna come and ride my wave. Take this ride, you'll never.
And you can see the meter right there. I'm getting about 5 dB of attenuation right there. So that's how you know that it's working. You only want this to be going down when this is performing, like I said. So that's how you know that you've done it correctly, is when this is going down, when you hear the she just wanna come and ride my wave. Yeah, that's me with the autotune. Don't laugh at me. So let's go ahead and listen to this soloed so you guys can really get an idea of what's going on here.
She just wanna come and ride my wave. Take this ride, you'll never be the same. Sweet and spice, I think she just might take.
I think I want a little bit of a faster attack, because whenever I hear a gap and the reverb is coming in, it kind of doesn't clamp on fast enough when the performance comes back in again. So you're gonna want to bring this down to maybe 4 milliseconds here. See if that tightens it up just a little bit.
She just wanna come and ride my wave. Take this ride, you'll never be the same. Sweet and spice, I think she just might taste. Feel the tide, you'll know it's time for change. She can see it in my face, I be glowing up.
Nice. All right, guys, so this takes me to the last but not least reverb effect. This is probably the coolest thing that you can do with reverb. This is called reverse reverb swells. This is something that took me so long to figure out what the name of it even was. I was typing in like, I don't even remember what I was typing in, honestly. It just took me about a month or two to even find it. So once again, I'm here to pass on the gems to you guys. Let me go ahead and show you better than I could tell you. Check this out.
She just wanna come and ride my way.
One more time. That shit is so cool. Hold on, I might have to censor that. Check it.
She just wanna come and ride my way.
So basically, it's like an early reflection of the beginning of the hook in this case. You can do this on a verse, you can do this in the middle of a bridge, you can really do this anywhere where there's a beginning. So let me show you how to get this going from scratch. Let me go ahead and just delete that and delete this. So the first thing you want to do is go to the beginning of something. So let me open up the inspector right here. And I already have it cut right here, wherever you just see fit. Honestly, just mess around with it and see what is good for you in this case. I decided to cut it right here. Make sure only that one is highlighted. Right click it and go ahead and go to bounce in place. And make sure bypass effect plugins is not checked, and everything else below that is. Hit OK. That's going to go ahead and mute the top one. It's going to give you basically a copy of what you cut. Now, I know I said not to put reverb on the channel, but it is situational. Remember, guys, there is no rules when it comes to it. There's rules of thumb, but honestly, you can break barriers whenever you want. It's all situational. So I'm going to go ahead and do a pretty high mix, pre-delay. Let me turn that down just so it trails like right when the sound hits. You want the reverb to just be already ringing out. Pretty high decay, high cut, just because the first syllable is she, so it is very, very sibilant. So I want to go ahead and do another high cut. You can also put an EQ like I showed you earlier. Anyways, bring the depth up because I just want it to swell in from far to close in a very smooth manner. Then you want to go down here to track and click file, go to functions, go to reverse, and you're going to go ahead and just reverse it right there. Then you're going to right click again, bounce in place again, and again make sure that bypass effect plugins is turned off, because otherwise the reverb is not going to be there. All right, there we go. We got the tail, and then you're going to go ahead and, my bad, you're going to go ahead and go to functions again, go to reverse once again. You're going to change it back. Then you're going to slide it back in place. You want to line this up. So it's basically you're printing it with the reverb already on it, but you reversed it. So it's a reverse reverb that's printed, and then you bring it back to the original direction. You got to make sure it's lined up so it sounds smooth. Let's see what we got.
Just wanna
Here, a
come.
little bit more. What I like to do also is to unmute the original. Ah, my bad. Unmute the original. There we go. I might do some automation volume later, but check this out. Almost there. I'm gonna bring it back just a hair more. Check it out.
She just wanna come and ride my way. Take this ride, you'll never be the same. Sweet and spice, I think she just might taste. Feel the tide, you'll know. So
there you have it, guys. Once again, it's your boy Wim with another Wave Doctor tutorial. Those are 3 reverb tricks that changed my game. Hopefully they can change your game as well. I would be remiss if I did not mention to comment, like, and subscribe. I know a lot of people do things different ways. I'm always open to suggestions. I'm always a student of the game. Even though I'm kind of turning into the teacher now, I'm always a student of the game, and I'm never ever too cocky or closed-minded to continue to learn. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it in the comment section. Also, if you guys are DIY mixing engineers, which is probably why you are clicking on this video in the first place, go ahead and head over to wavedoctor.com. It is a website that I put together with my 10+ years of mixing and mastering engineering skills. I have presets for Logic, I have presets for Pro Tools, and presets for FL Studio. Ableton, guys, I'm sorry, I'm working on it. I need to get a new computer with more processing power, more space, so that I can get you guys taken care of. But I actually have a special going on right now where if you buy the lead vocal preset, we actually have the ad-lib and the background vocal included for $1. Okay, so I don't want to break the bank. I just want you guys to learn at an affordable price. You guys don't need to spend tens of thousands of dollars on all this extra gear, all all these extra plugins and all this extra education when you can come to my YouTube for free. You guys can learn everything that I'm trying to pass down to you guys. So once again, it's your boy Wim, the Wave Doctor, and I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna see y'all in the next tutorial. Yeah.